Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Super Split Screen Brothers. I am Nick. Wonderbat is canon. Joining me, as always, is the Wonderbat hater. Oh my god, that is a new record.
Oh
That
my
is
god! Why?
That is a new record. I'm sorry. I had to do one of my speedrun strats for trying to break you, and I was successful. Those are some splits right there. New record. World record for breaking Jared.
Oh my god, that may have to be a drop when I enter your shows now. How are you, Nick?
I am on top of the world right now. Thank you for that. All right, so we got a good episode for you guys. And like Jared is trying to push things along. Jared, what you playing, playa?
Been playing a lot of ODST, which is Halo 3 ODST, because I'm up to that with Lad because he and I are playing through all the Halo games, all the campaigns, so we're up to ODST. So I've been kind of getting back into it. In terms of TV shows, I've done a rewatch. I'm in the middle of a rewatch of Superman and Lois. I'm almost done with season 1. And in terms of comic books, I am starting Batman Arkham Asylum, which I'm very excited for. I love me some Grant Morrison, even some badass crazy Grant Morrison. But I got that. In terms of movies, I've actually started watching Chasing Amy, which I like. It's really funny. Nick has his own opinions on that. I can tell.
I've actually never seen it. So.
It's hilarious, dude.
So I don't know. I was never really like a huge Kevin Smith fan. I wasn't really a big fan of like his whole cult of personality, especially now that he's gone off his rocker. I just kind of doubled down. Like
there's this great scene though. So Ben Affleck plays a comic book penciler, and his friend is an inker. So there's this bit. So at a convention, someone's arguing with his friend about how inking is basically tracing. And then they get into an actual fight with the fan. It's so funny.
Every comic book creator's dream right there.
They explain because the dude goes, okay, so he pulls someone aside and he goes, okay, so what's it called when someone else comes up with a pencil and draws on your picture and doesn't leave the picture once? It's tracing. It was so funny.
I'm sorry, I'm dying a little inside.
It was so funny. But besides that, I actually, if you want to do this later, I have I'm still working on the script for Athena, but I have a new character design to show off. I can show that later if you
give it to me, baby.
All right. So this is for the bounty hunter who is sent to retrieve Athena by Xerxes.
I like it. I can see kind of like your various design influences. Also, I have to say this. This is the way.
Yes. Yeah, we were heavily... I told my artist, Dawson, think of him like Boba Fett meets Lobo.
Yeah, the mask itself looks very Mortal Kombat-esque.
Yeah, and the long hair is for Lobo. The gauntlets, I would imagine, is Predator, which I'm fine with because it works 100% for the aesthetic of the book.
I gotta say that hair is giving me very like 90s vibes.
It should.
Like in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. I should have a character a joke character that's just all pouches. And just call him Mr. 90s.
Isn't there one? It's called like Pouch Man or something.
Yeah, I think so. But
I think Rob Liefeld himself created it as like a joke.
By the way, that's the first time that I've shown that. So you got the exclusive premiere of Nico. So that's basically what I've been doing besides arguing with people on Twitter about the Snyderverse, but that's a pastime for me. I love calling out gatekeepers. It's the best thing in the world. What about you, Nick?
So I've been really getting into playing God of War Ghost of Sparta on my PlayStation Portable. Let me just kind of grab it here because I'm old and I'm still playing my PSP. I'm sorry, it's just such a useful system, especially
So
when you
you
mod it.
built that with a club, I'm assuming.
No, actually, T-Rex bone.
Nice. Like you could take out a T-Rex. Jeez.
No, I don't take out a T-Rex. I ride one.
Like you could tame a T-Rex.
I tame several. They only live about like 5 to 7 years, but like if you hand raise them, they're actually very good mounts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was quite the T-Rex tamer back in my day.
Sure. And then the meteorite came. By the way, real quick, the other thing I did.
There were meteor deniers, but they were quickly shut up.
Real quick, another thing I did is I went to SuperCon and got book signed by Ryan Otley. For those of you that don't know who that is, he drew Invincible and he drew the Nick Spencer Spider-Man run, the good run that was undoing all the BS for Spider-Man until Zeb Wells showed up and basically tanked the whole thing.
Yeah.
I asked him about the Zeb Wells thing. He's like, I've never read it.
Smart man.
Smart man. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, yeah, don't.
Well, all this is just news to me, so let's just kind of rip off the pretense and go straight into it.
Straight into our episode?
Straight into the news.
Well, this applies to it because here's the thing. A lot of these media companies with their content that should be home runs have just been hitting L after L after L after L.
And it's not just Disney; it's Warner Brothers, Netflix, like so many companies. But you can keep that on there.
Well, Warner Brothers, there are many different reasons why they're taking L's right now.
Well, they thought putting a baby in a microwave was a good idea.
Did you see that what someone did pre the release of The Flash? Someone recorded that and then reversed it so it looked like Ezra was putting the baby in the microwave. I don't know why, but the point is, there's a lot of different reasons these people are failing, chiefly because they don't understand that you can't. To a certain degree, I get what they're talking about when they want to make things more relevant for the modern audience, but the way they're doing it in a way that changes the entire meaning surrounding the item of pop culture, if you will.
Yeah. Like for example, I'm a huge Witcher fan, and I was a big defender season 1. I was have an open mind for season 2. I honestly forgot they're coming out with season 3. Like when people were posting about season 3, like it's already out. I'm like, wait, it came out? It had dropped so far off my radar.
I've only watched season 1 because after that I was like, I'm fine. Because what happened? Yeah. By the way, have you read the books?
I've read The Last Wish, the short story thing, but that's
I'm thinking of getting into those because I played Wild Hunt and I've seen season 1 of the show. In fact, season 1 of the show inspired me to go to Game Pass and download Wild Hunt because I was like, I'll try this out, and it was awesome.
Have you played the DLC for The Witcher 3?
No, I haven't beaten Wild Hunt yet.
Okay, the DLC is really good. Hearts of Stone, Blood and Wine. Really good. Hearts of Stone will rip your heart out. It's a really good tale. And then Blood and Wine is just kind of a good kind of conclusion to everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the one where they have your romance will show up and visit you, and then they have a cutscene that basically shows the ending.
Kind of, yeah.
I think I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah, and there's different versions of it to where if you ended up getting neither of them in the main game, Ciri will show up. But if you end up getting neither of them and Ciri dies, Dandelion will show up. It's really sad.
Let me ask you this. I don't think I ever asked you this. Who'd you romance, Triss or Yennefer?
My first playthrough, I romanced Triss. The second one, I did Yennefer. But I think my preference is Triss. Yeah.
Looking back on it, because Yennefer seems like the bad crazy, so I'm like, no.
Well, canonically, it's Geralt and Yennefer. There are certain people who play Witcher 3 like they're Geralt and they try to make canon choices. I mean, that's fine if you want to play it that way, but that's not the only way to play it. I make the choices that I want to make.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
My version
you
of
can do that. That's a fun way to play the game later. Like with Mass Effect, there is no canon choice, pretty much.
The canon choice is whatever you make canon.
Yeah, it's whatever is in here, and trust me, if it's in here, it's a screwed up canon. But the point is, by the game, I jumped into 3, generally enjoying it. So back to what we're talking about here. Yeah, so I only watched season 1 because what was happening in season 2 didn't interest me. Season 3, I could care less because I don't want to. Because I've had enough saying goodbye to Henry Cavill to last me a lifetime.
Yeah, season 2 made quite a few mistakes. Like, you remember the character Eskel from Witcher 3?
Who is that? I haven't played in a long time.
Well, you need to do another playthrough, brother.
Yeah. First off, I have to finish my playthrough. I didn't finish.
Well, finish your playthrough, and then when you get to the DLCs, maybe we can stream it or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, Eskel is one of the other Witchers, because you know how there's other Witchers at Kaer Morhen. He's the one with like the really scarred face. They did him so dirty. Did him so dirty. Like the other thing was like I'm not a fan of like show Triss, like like the Triss from the Netflix show.
You mean the imposter Triss? I've played enough of that game of Wild Hunt to know that ain't Triss.
In the second season, they did give her reddish hair, and she acted a little bit more like Triss, but it was still pale imitation. And then, when it comes to like minor characters that I don't care about, I'm a little more tolerant to race swap. Like Fringilla, they race swapped her. It actually makes things a little bit awkward because Fringilla is actually related to Emperor Amir, and she's actually like I think either like the cousin of Duchess Henrietta of Toussaint, and like if they make her white in the show, which that's some questions right there. It's just. But these people, they don't really paint it. Like the lore is an obstacle to them.
Yes, which that shouldn't be that way. And when you have an actor who's so, it's like when people say, "Oh, Henry Cavill's known for being difficult." Yeah, but you're adapting someone else's work. You should properly represent someone else's work.
To be fair, that was a rumor propagated by one podcast with a reputation of telling half truths or outright lies that the media.
It rhymes with base. Grace Randolph.
Oh no, it wasn't even her. It was like just some 2-bit podcast. But
okay.
she was more than happy to spread that rumor. She was more than happy to.
But it's funny. I just saw him bounding in the comics. There was an article about how now that Cavill's leaving, all the actors are like, "Oh, we love Henry. We're gonna miss him."
It's face saving. It is all like. Because did you see the picture of the premiere where like all of them are dressed to the nines and Henry's in like workout wear?
Yeah. Well, that's just Henry Cavill. That dude's awesome.
It just shows how little he cares about this whole thing. It's like,
yeah, he's done because he's like, you know what? I'll just go back to reading the books and playing the games because that's.
Well, he's got Warhammer now, so
and he's got War. I'm gonna go back to making Space Marine crap.
No, he's gonna be a Space Marine.
Him being a Space Marine. Oh yeah, he's played Superman, Geralt, and a Space Marine.
Imagine if they make a hot toy as Geralt as a Space Marine.
You know what someone did? They made a custom new 52 Henry Cavill Superman with the collar. Before you ask, I'm not getting that. I'm fine with my black suit Superman. But the point is, I plan on having a hot toy for every version of Henry Cavill.
All right, let me ask you a question. When you get to meet Henry Cavill, what are you having him sign?
Probably. How many items can I have him sign?
We all know when you meet Jason Momoa, you're having him sign the Trident.
I'm always signing the Trident, baby. Well, Henry Cavill's probably going to sign probably one of my Superman trades, the base for my Hot Toy Superman.
Okay.
And I'm trying to see. There's so many things.
We go up to Henry Cavill's booth, you're like this. Here, look. It's like...
Well, I'll probably do is I could probably 3D print the Superman S and then have him sign that.
Yeah, you'll probably be limited to 3 items, though, I imagine.
Yeah, I'll find something to have that man sign.
Wait. I will. Why did I go high pitch that?
No,
find
wait.
him.
You don't have to. Wait. You really don't have to for this.
I will find him.
Oh, you still have that clip.
It's in your account, so it's like, okay, there you go.
I'm sorry, I love that clip, especially the do kind of thing.
Yeah, that works. That works. But I dig that. But what would you have him sign?
That's a good question.
Do you have like a Witcher book?
I have a Witcher book. One second. Let me go. Let's see here. Do I have it? Do I have it? Oh, I do not have it. I do have one Witcher book, but okay. All right. That. Wait. Come down here. I guess I don't have it anymore. That is sad. But yeah. Well, I guess for this segment, just kind of probably have him sign this.
There you go.
Yeah, this book has seen way better days. Like, got a little kind of hump right here. It's just like this thing is just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, getting back onto the main topic. Yeah, so like you've seen this like Indiana Jones is tracking to make like what, $119 million opening weekend or something.
Apparently, it's making less money than The Flash.
Which The Flash is making less money than Black Adam.
And you see, I posted on Twitter, so The Rock was right. The hierarchy of power literally did change.
It took a little bit longer than he expected, but he was right in the end.
Yeah, and I'm like, to be clear, I still enjoyed The Flash, but I'm just saying it's like, this is bad.
Black Adam is not a bad movie by any.
It's so much fun. I love that movie.
It's an enjoyable movie. I thought it was rather meh, but it was not bad by any stretch.
The only part that I now look at with a little bit of contempt is the Henry Cavill cameo, but that's for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I don't blame that on The Rock because he didn't make that decision to get rid of Cavill.
Yeah, less said about that kind of stuff, the better.
I think that the reason why they're failing is the audience is caught on to the fact that these companies bank on using nostalgia to bring people back. Look at The Flash. They had Michael Keaton as Batman again.
You brought back Michael Keaton as Batman, and you still failed.
Yeah, that's why if you look at our coverage before the movie came out, I thought it was going to do really well because of Keaton.
Honestly, Keaton is the only reason it did as well as it did. Because imagine if they didn't have Keaton, and this is just a straight Flash movie.
Well, if they had done a straight Flashpoint movie, I think it would have done a lot better because you have Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne.
I don't think WB I don't think Ezra is as loved as people realize. Because when it comes to the conversation about the Justice League, obviously everyone talks about the main three, and people love Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and even Cyborg gets a lot of love, but you don't really see people talking about how much they love the Flash and Ezra Miller's portrayal. You don't see that.
But here's the difference: you would have had, if they did straight Flashpoint, Godot, Momoa, Ray Fisher, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan in the movie playing key roles.
I still deposit that Zack Snyder was the only one to coax a good performance out of Ezra.
True, I enjoyed him more in the Snyder in ZSJL than I did in the Flash. I'll give you that.
Less we said about the cut of JL that doesn't exist, which I'm okay. This is Phoenix Press. So I'm going to say this: Ezra in the Whedon cut is absolutely unbearable.
Oh yes, because he's
They
like
turn him into a hyperactive, autistic, whatever,
and coward.
Barry in the actual version of Justice League is actually tolerable. Like,
he ran into an explosion to reverse time.
Like, he's a lot calmer in that version. And no, like, I really hate how, like, the stereotypical way to portray Speedster is like a hyperactive, spastic, whatever. And I kind of enjoyed Ezra Miller's portrayal of the Flash because he's like, he's more calmer, he's more down to earth, you know. Like, honestly, that whole bit of after the Iris sequence where it's like, oh, I always bring a snack for dogs, like, that was legitimately funny.
Where he goes, I always bring a meat snack. So when do I start?
That was a perfect capstone to that scene.
Exactly. With the other one, he was like, oh, I've never actually done battle. I've just pushed some people and run away. You ran a Captain Boomerang in the previous movie, you idiot.
Yeah, and then, like, the other scenes where he's talking to his dad, you know, work so good. And, like, the final one where it's like, he's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. It's like, he's acting like a human being. Like I would watch a movie with this version of Barry.
Mm-hmm. But it's like,
you know, and obviously the going back in time scene is great. Like, yes.
And by the way, did you know in the Whedon cut, I didn't notice this until someone pointed out on Twitter, they changed. So at the end of the movie, when Wonder Woman is in the Hall of Justice and she goes, but room for more, they changed the color of her clothes from blue to red.
I saw that, and I saw some people saying, oh, they wanted her to pop more. It's like, she didn't really even pop that much because if you look at, like, the video, there's a pass where she's like bright red, and then she goes like a more muted red. It's almost it defeated the whole purpose of changing it red. Like, if it was more like the brighter red, then okay, maybe it pops more. But, like, it's a very muted red to the point where like what's even point of changing it?
Did you see there was a deleted scene from 1984 where Wonder Woman punches through a missile?
Okay, sure.
And I'm like, they took that out and kept in that movie. Oh my god. Again, this is why Warner Brothers are failing, because they're making wrong decisions one after the other.
See, the problem that I hate, like the flying scene is so stupid, not because Wonder Woman flies, but because, like, just the way they went about it is so stupid.
Oh, she's like, now it's not even like she at least with Henry Cavill in his first flight scene, it took him a second to get up there. It's like he even jumped and then he just straight up fell. No, she just all of a sudden could fly.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't even mind the whole like whipping the lightning and riding the lightning, because that's actually legitimately cool. You know, like,
they had a better. If you look at the animatics, it looked a lot better. It would have been cooler.
The only thing better is if you would have had Metallica playing.
Well, did you know there was supposed to be a scene?
Have them play
There's supposed to be a scene where all of a sudden she's like surrounded by lightning and she's exuding lightning because she's the daughter of Zeus as she flies.
I mean, honestly, we could do a whole episode
but
about
beyond
like,
that. But the point is that they keep making these stupid decisions, like announcing they're going to do a reboot before the movies come out. But we've talked ad nauseum on that. Disney. Don't get me started, because they replaced their characters, the characters people cared about, instead of rebooting after Endgame, because that was the perfect ending to the MCU. Perfect. You could have just ended it there, then rebooted. No, let's replace.
To be fair,
mm-hmm.
So yeah, Phase 4 is a disaster, but I will say, partially in its defense, COVID really messed up their plans. Like, I believe. Because, like, you know, they had to reshuffle things. Like, for example, like Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to come first. And it had an entirely different plot. Like, it actually had a pandemic plot. Like, there's actually vestiges of it in the show. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very obvious that there are plot points that were dropped. Like, oh, they're transporting vaccines. And, like, when they go, it's like, oh, everything's clean. It's obvious there was a pandemic subplot that they dropped. But they're too lazy to fully remove it.
Yeah, but it's like, I get that, but the very fact that they thought it was a good idea, let's replace all the characters that everyone cares about with the characters that historically can't sell their own books. That's the thing.
If you want a perfect example, of why these companies just can't help shooting themselves in the foot. Look at the Blue Beetle trailer. I mean, Jared, you know where I'm going with this, but just let me cook. The Blue Beetle trailer, it's fine. Honestly.
Oh, I know what you're going to bring up.
And then usually with trailers, they do the title and then they have like an ending stinger. It's usually like a joke or a moment. And they do they do the title reveal Blue Beetle, and then Batman's a fascist. Like, why the fuck would you end your trailer? And yes, it was deliberate because that's the last thing people hear is Batman is a fascist. Why would you say that about literally the only character that like Batman is single-handedly propping up DC Comics
the company,
right
the character that literally prints money for you.
Like, literally, the only comic series that are selling at DC Comics right now are the Batman titles.
It's to the point. Here's how important, but people say Superman is the most important character in DC.
Culturally,
no, it's Batman.
Culturally, it's Superman.
It's Superman.
Financially, it's Batman.
It's Batman. It's Batman, let's face it.
I love how the rich playboy is the one who brings in the money.
I know, right? But the point is, like, I 110% agree with you. It gets to the point where wherever I see that trailer, I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. And then I'm like
who in their right mind would do that? Who in the right mind thought that was a good idea?
But it's like, I get it. If that character is like some kind of conspiracy theory like guy, that's fine. But you put that in the trailer.
Yeah, like having in the movie. Like having in the movie, you have the benefit of being like, because I guarantee you what it's probably going to be is going to be one line. It's going to be like 5 seconds, and then they move on with the movie. That's more. I'm 99% sure that's what's going to happen. But the thing is, if it was in the context of the movie, it'd be like, oh, that was cringe, and then you move on. You know, like, okay, yeah, that moment was cringe, but it's literally 5 seconds of the movie. Like, you can move past it. But the fact that not only you put it in your trailer, 3 minutes, but the fact that you put it as the end stinger, literally the last thing people see before the trailer is over, it shows it was deliberate. They wanted people to see this. They wanted people to remember it. And it's just dumbasses. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine because I agree with you. It's like, and this is the company that says that Zack Snyder damaged their brand. And I'm like, no, BS, boneheaded decisions like that damage your brand. Zack had nothing to do with that.
You have done that yourself.
Because, wait, look at the end of the Snyder Cut trailer. The last line, they never fought us, not us united. That is badass. With this, Batman's a fascist.
And it's like, I love how, like, we're just get out all of the grievances we have on DC and Disney. Like,
well, hey, it's part of this topic.
Sure. Why not? And, like, the Flash post-credit scene is literally them embarrassing Aquaman when literally his movie is next. And that movie is not doing too good either. Like, that one, from what if you hear like from the test screenings, apparently it's not testing well at all.
Well, I'm sure that's also I'm sure that has something to do with the quality and Amber Heard, and also probably be because people know it's a reboot, so everyone's like, why do I care about whatever the hell happens in this movie?
Apparently the Flash tested well and they knew that, so I don't think it's as much of a factor.
I guarantee you they're gonna try and as we approach the release of the Aquaman movie, they're going to say they're going to cast Jason Momoa as Aquaman, the DCU, and they're going to say, it takes place in the DCU.
See, here's the problem with Gunn, is he literally changes his mind by the day, and he's like going on Twitter, putting out these messages, and like people are picking up on these. News sites are saying this or that, and it's really giving a confusion. There is confusion, but like, for example, Blue Beetle, it's like, is he the first in this new universe? I personally feel,
he is.
But at the same time, he says Superman Legacy is going to be. So it's like there is confusion. But here's what I think the actual truth is. It depends on how Blue Beetle does. He's keeping it vague on purpose. If Blue Beetle does really well, congratulations! Blue Beetle's the first in the successful universe. If it fails, oh no, it was part of the old regime.
Yeah, and I'm so I really don't. Which actually, speaking of Blue Beetle, that movie is not tracking well either. So it's probably going to be like, well, it's an Elseworld story.
The problem with Blue Beetle is literally, if Blue Beetle, like if they had done a movie and Blue Beetle had shown up and and just like got popular, because that's what they did in the comics when they introduced a new character. Like, for example, the Punisher, he showed up in Spider-Man. He got popular because of that, and then they gave him his own series.
That was the original purpose of the Justice League and Avengers books. They were like, introduce new characters, put them in books that have like Batman in them, because that way people that want to buy Batman will be exposed to these other new characters. It's just, and here's my problem, Nick.
They do it all the time.
This is a systemic problem that has existed with Warner Brothers since Justice League. They keep introducing all these C and D tier characters before they establish their main roster. We haven't got a Superman movie in 10 years. We almost got a Batgirl movie, and I said this on Nerdette Stream. I'm sorry. We should not a Batgirl movie should not be even entertained until we have had one Batman movie in this continuity.
Also, Batgirl needs to be in a Batman movie first.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying, first, let's do this in stages. And really, when you think about it, Superman should have been the first one to get a movie after Justice League. Let's face it, because he is your heart and soul of the universe. We shouldn't have to wait 10 years.
Okay, tangent.
Yeah.
Let's imagine we did get a Man of Steel 2 after Zack Snyder's Justice League. What do you think should have been the plot? Who do you think should have been the villain?
I think
And don't say Brainiac.
Well, it was going to be Brainiac in the plot.
Well, I'm saying don't say Brainiac.
Okay, but I mean, I had a good idea for a Brainiac plot in there, but okay, so it would be the introduction of Supergirl, because I want to do a scene where she comes in, she's super angsty, she tries to kill someone, and then she, like you said before, because I think it's a fantastic idea for a line, where she goes, "You've never had to kill someone." "Yes, I have." And you can bring up that he still feels guilty over the Zod kill.
Imagine we got a Batman x Superman movie, like a sequel to Dawn of Justice. Batman x Superman Apocalypse.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Actually, it would be post Zack Snyder's Justice League, so actually that works. So there you go.
They do the animated movie.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But that's my favorite animated movie of all time. So
because I can totally see Ben Affleck selling that Omega Lambda scene.
Oh yes, with the voice changer and everything, him and Ray Porter, it would be super dope. And plus, you could have this. He earns back the blue suit Superman does, and then again, you have the car because, or you could just have a more classic story like Superman helps people and stuff. Just that way, a more minor villain. That way, you have the more positive Superman out there first, and then he's like doing less because I feel like at this point, we want a palate cleanser from all of this like multiversal god stuff.
Oh, I just had a great idea how to introduce Big Barda into the world. She's a advanced scout for Darkseid, but they eventually turn her to the side of good.
Oh yeah, because that's what I think. Is that what happens? No, but you can say she meets Scott Free. We can also introduce Scott Free. He turns her good, and then they fall in love.
Also, we know who's playing Big
Gina
Barda.
Carano.
Which is actually kind of funny because, like imagine Superman meeting Big Barda, because him and Gina actually.
If I were the director, I would make a joke like, don't I know you from somewhere?
I'm sure, like both of those two are nice enough people that I'm sure they could be professional about it. Like I'm not really worried, because both of them are like good enough people. They're like, okay, yeah, we used to date, but hey, let's be professional about this. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do like the idea of like what they could do. Don't do Man of Steel 2. Make it an actual Trinity movie. And you could do that plot because that's a Trinity book. Let's face it. It's not labeled Trinity, but it's heavily Trinity, okay? Except don't have an army of Doomsday show up because I think we're done with Doomsday at this point. Just have the female Fury show up on Themyscira. I swear, during Full Circle, when Chris Terrio said that if we get that, he basically said when, but he said if we get those other two movies, we're gonna get more into like the politics of apocalypse. We're gonna see what happens, and I'm like, yes, please.
Also, what would make me go crazy is I'm in a theater for Top Gun Maverick 2, and
A green ring comes by.
No, well, okay, yeah, you called me out on that, but like the post-credit scene is, you know, you see like Maverick pulling his bike over, it's a crash, and he gets it, and it's a link, you know.
Yeah, that would
kind
be
of, or like it says like, oh, Pete Mitchell's not actually real, not your real name, you know.
That would
Jordan.
be the biggest like what moment ever.
It's like finds out that like you know, like he was actually he was actually adopted, and that his birth name was Hal Jordan.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And then all of a sudden the ring comes by. Hal Jordan, you have the ability to overcome great fear, and everyone's like, "Wait, what?" That would be fantastic. Because first off, I could see Tom Cruise playing Hal Jordan,
or even better, like it's like he goes to meet. It's like he goes to dinner. He sits down, and there's Ryan Reynolds. Like, Jordan, what are you doing here? Oh, not much. How you doing, Rainier?
And it's pronounced Rainer.
So it turns out that because you know Kyle Rayner has been a fighter pilot in some iterations.
No, he wasn't.
I swear he was a fighter pilot.
No,
Some of it.
Hal took him flying.
Well, fine. In this version, Rayner or Gardner. Like, honestly, I think Tom Cruise could play a great Guy Gardner.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was just thinking Tom Cruise could play a hell of a Guy Gardner. Because you got to play a douchebag, and he's played a douche, let's face it. That's Pete Mitchell when you think about it.
What do you think of Timothy Chalamet as
Who was
Rayner? Dune, the lead of Dune.
Nah, too young. I can't see, because he also has to be a Justice League character, and I'm like, I can't see him on the Justice League. He would play a pretty decent Nightwing, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, who would you cast as Guy Gardner?
Guy Gardner, probably. Let me see this one dude. I'm trying to remember where I've seen this dude from. Trying to remember, because there's one name that pops into my mind that honestly Momoa could play a pretty decent.
Jai Courtney.
Jai Courtney could. Oh yes, Jai Courtney.
Come on, Jai Courtney as Guy Gardner. Yes.
That's good. I like that.
He would play a good Guy Gardner, and you know it.
He would so play a good Guy Gardner.
Batista could do Guy Gardner.
Batista.
But no, Batista needs to play Kilowog. I'm sorry.
He needs to play. Yeah. He's got to play Kilowog.
He's got to play Kilowog. Oh, what about the guy who plays the Krennic in Rogue One as Sinestro?
Yes. Oh, hell yeah, that would work. Or you could just bring back Mark Strong. But yes, I would be totally fine with that.
Mark Strong actually was a good.
You have to have a moment when because Sinestro's story is that he became a dictator. Hal goes to like depose him, and then at one point he goes, "We're standing here on the precipice of my achievement, not yours." Oh
no!
I would love. Wait, one more.
You're choking on your own aspiration.
Yes, or one more. You have to have a scene where Sinestro comes back from the dead, and Kyle goes, "Somehow Sinestro came back to life."
No. Oh, no. Oscar Isaacs as Rainer. Okay, you gotta admit that's a good pick.
Oscar Isaac as Rainer could work really well.
But I feel like he deserves to be like a different character. Like who would you cast as Oscar Isaac in the DCU?
Oscar Isaac in the DCU. I'm not saying whoever the DC equivalent of Moon Knight is, because that wouldn't work.
That would be Batman.
Actually, wait a second. He could play a pretty decent Ra's al Ghul.
No, he's a little bit too young.
Okay, I could see that. Let me see. I'm looking at my comics right now.
I'm trying to think here.
He could play a pretty decent Kyle. I will give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm trying to think here. The Question.
That could work. By the way, drop in the comments who you guys think Oscar Isaac would play in the DCU.
This episode got off the rails so quickly, and that is fine.
Whatever. Yeah, it's fine.
It's whatever. Yeah. Trying to think here.
By the way, Chris Pratt as Booster Gold and Nathan Fillion as Blue Beetle.
Oscar Isaacs as Orion.
Yes, that's it. Or Mr. Miracle.
What about the guy who played Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins as Highfather?
You mean Qui-Gon Jinn?
Yeah.
You know what? That's actually a really good pick. Wow.
Because I could see him being up for playing like for doing a DC character or even a Marvel character.
And I think we decided that Clancy Brown has to play Mongol.
Yes.
Okay,
who plays Granny Goodness though? You know,
like from The Office.
I am going to resurrect Betty White and cast her. I'm sorry,
you don't have Black Lantern powers.
But you know that if she was still alive, she would have made an amazing Granny Goodness.
I don't think so.
Have you seen her? Have you seen Lake Placid?
No.
See, Granny Goodness is kind of like that sickly sweet, like he's kind of got that, like he's a sweet, like kind of sweet grandma, but like she's saying the most nastiest thing. Betty White, that is her specialty. Oh, I'm trying to think. Sally Field, maybe. I'm trying to think of like older actresses who could pull that off. Dolores Leachman, I don't think she's still alive though. I think the actress who played Aunt May in Spider-Man 2002 is still alive. Rosemary Harris.
That would be hilarious. There has to be a scene where she tells someone, "You're not Superman, you know."
Oh my god! If
this would make sense. That's the funny part.
Granny Goodness somehow ended up in the MCU for some reason.
Multiverse, baby. It's on the other side of the source wall. That's what Grant Morrison wanted to say.
All right, you got any good castings for me?
Who would play? Okay, assuming Jensen Ackles plays Batman, who would you cast as Red Hood? Would you clone him and make him Red Hood?
No.
We call it Batman Clone Saga.
Timothy Chalamet could do it, but like I'm trying to think of like younger actors.
He works more as Dick Grayson, dude.
Yeah, you're right.
I would honestly pick. Let me see. Stephen Amell. His Red Hood was basically Red Hood. I mean, his Green Arrow was basically Red Hood.
Stephen Amell is too wide because like Red Hood, like all the Robins have like acrobat bodies. True. Stephen Amell is too jacked.
Okay, he could play Green Arrow though. I mean, actually no, I can't see him playing the joke because I want the jokey Green Arrow. I don't want the Batman Green Arrow.
I really hope that when they do a Green Arrow like movie, they have Stephen Amell play his dad.
Or like his brother or something. They have to have him involved in some way.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I still say the Flash would have been a lot better if it was Ezra and Grant teaming up to save the multiverse.
See, that would actually make sense.
Particularly taking into account that cameo in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
But anyway, which by the way is canon to either Justice League, so you can't tell me that didn't happen in the Hamadaverse timeline. No, it did. But
all right, so let's go to our top fives here.
All right. So our top fives. This was one that was kind of tough for us to pick out, but we figured. So, what are your top 5 guilty pleasure comic book movies and or shows? You want to do the a mix of the two, or 5 shows, 5 movies?
Mix of the two, because I honestly might just make mine a top 3 because like I'm struggling, but
Well, I can
Okay,
go through mine if you want to buy yourself some time.
Batman Forever, Daredevil. There's 2. Fantastic Four. I still feel like the first Fantastic Four movie is actually good. I'm gonna say X-Men, either X-Men Origins or X-Men 3, because they honestly both of those movies kind of fall into that kind of so bad it's good crevice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
all right, Dark Phoenix. I dug that movie a lot.
it's just dull. It's just dull.
The Flash. You already know that was coming. Daredevil. Obviously, the director's cut.
Even the original cut's not.
Which again, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So for the longest time, I was like, I don't know why anyone hates the Daredevil movie. It turns out the only version I had ever watched was the director's cut.
Like, I grew up on the original version,
mm-hmm.
and I even thought that was
mm-hmm.
okay.
And okay, so that's 3. In terms of shows, definitely not She-Hulk. Probably if I had to pick, this is legitimately tough. Honestly, man, picking shows is harder than picking movies, honestly.
It's like picking children.
Yeah, except not at all, because I didn't make these projects. Probably, if I had to pick, I'm going to do another movie. Screw it. X-Men 3.
Okay.
Because of that X-Men entrance scene where Storm is electrocuting people. Colossus just comes down like a badass. And Wolverine just uses his claws to slow his descent. I'm like, this is badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Thor: The Dark World.
Okay, that actually is on my list too, because that movie, while it's not amazing, is okay.
Compared to what we got afterwards, that is Zack Snyder's Justice League quality.
Let's just say Thor: Love and Thunder makes Thor: The Dark World look like
you know it's bad. You know it's the number one thing that I saw on Twitter after Thor: Love and Thunder came out. Maybe we were too rough on Thor: The Dark World. Yeah, 100%, dude.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here, and this thing went so off the rails, but
great episode though.
Before we go, I want to give a shout out to my Patreon. If you want to watch episodes like this or anything else I put up a day early, you can subscribe to my Patreon. And then I'm also planning on doing movie nights and then after parties on my live streams. Once kind of those get going. So please subscribe to my Patreon. You can find the link down below. And then by this time it goes live, my 4th of July tribute will be up. And then on Thursday, I am going to be dropping the pilot for the rebooted Comics Watch. So make sure to check that out. It's going to be awesome. And yeah. So Jared, anything you want to promo?
Well, tomorrow I'm collabing with another YouTuber. Perhaps you've heard of him, Sil Abdul.
I have heard of him.
Yes, he's coming on the channel to talk DC, DC everything, comics, movies, and such. So it's gonna be a really fun time. And I just released a video, which is my first vlog, because Lad and I were at Florida SuperCon. We talked about how there's mostly anime stuff at Florida SuperCon. So that's an interesting little point there. And in terms of what's coming out on the channel, another amalgam discussion, or I'm going to discuss the comic that's basically launching the Transformers line at Skybound, because there was a comic, I forget the title though, where a Transformer showed up randomly and then flew off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
Jetfire. Where is this at again?
It is, hang on, I'll pull it up. I'll get the comic. It is, okay, where is it? Give me 1 second. All right. Void Rivals. It's where all of a sudden, so these guys are crash landing on a planet. They stumble across a jet, and the jet transforms into G1 Jetfire. So that's
is this a crossover kind of thing?
Kind of. It's the way of Skybound, which is owned by Robert Kirkman, to tease that he has the Transformers license now.
So Kirkman's has a Transformers license now?
Yeah, Skybound.
So yeah, because IDW lost it.
Because technically he could cross over Transformers with Invincible. Oh, there's so much. Apparently he said he's going to do Transformers G.I. Joe.
Imagine if... okay, all right, I want to play this real quick. If you could acquire licenses to a media property, incorporate it into your comic company, which one would you do?
I'm going to do non-DC and non-Marvel, okay?
Yes.
Because that's the obvious answer. I would probably... Honestly, I would probably go with Transformers because there's so much I could do with that. Like, I would 100% bring in the Beast Wars characters, like 100%. And I would 100% do like Transformers or G.I. Joe, because I think G.I. Joe could work really well with Athena.
I think you know my answer.
Ninja Turtles?
Actually, 1 second. Let me.
Okay.
Better.
Nick has to grab stuff.
Yes, I should have thought of this, but I do not think things through.
Well, that's the way you go through life, Nick. It's all good.
It's just how I roll.
It's just how you roll. That's good.
They see me rolling. They hating. I'm just trying to fill in this empty space. All right. So you want to know what? Actually, let me just turn off virtual background. All right. You want to know what property I would get? Go Power Ranger.
That would actually work really. Can you imagine Screecher turning into a Power Ranger? Which Ranger would she be?
Well, her color would be purple, first and foremost.
Purple Ranger. Has there ever been a Purple Ranger?
Yeah, there's actually been quite a few of them.
Oh, yeah. You mean in, like, Dino Charge when there was, like, an army of Power Rangers?
Actually, yes, there was a Purple Ranger Dino Charge. There was one in... now you got me thinking here. There was one in... Geki Ranger, which I'm trying to think of like Jungle Fury. The Mentor was a Purple Ranger. And
I remember that.
More.
No, but it's like, isn't it kind of funny in Dino Charge where literally they were like, you get Ranger powers and you get Ranger powers. Everyone gets Ranger powers.
But yeah, I'm sorry I had to do this.
That'd be cool, honestly. That's another one where I think I would play around with. Because can you imagine Atlas, the powers of Superman, but he also morphs into a Power Ranger?
There is a Power Ranger Justice League crossover that we probably should cover.
Yes,
sometime.
I need that.
We need to do that together, and probably bring Jay Heat into it as well.
That'll be fun. That'll be a fun group discussion.
All right, so all right, let's wrap this up. And this has been Nick from the Phoenix Press, and remember, may the power protect you.